Here at the offices of Scarce City, I am your host, Chief Executive Pleb, Chris Tremount. We've got a bear market special for you here at Scarce City. Two epic collections, Crypsi Chaos, everything you want from your vintage to modern digital and physical goods. We'll go through the lots with Crypsi themselves here shortly. We also have a Pepe and Friends collection going on. Rare Pepes, fake rares. We got some Danks. We got some XC Pinata. Everything representing the counterparty renaissance here. We are open for auction bids and sales at this moment. Get on scarce.city. Check them all out. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome on Crypsi so we can talk about what's going on here. Crypsi, sir, how are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you, Chris.
Good to see you. You were looking fashionable as always.
Sponsored by the FBI today.
Busted by the FBI today? Is that what you said?
Sponsored by.
I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, yes, I'm on my phone.
Okay. We'll make this work. Something about the FBI can't be good, but you're here with us, so good enough, I guess. So let's start off with the elephant in the room here. Bitcoin's treading water around 30K right now. What do you think? Is Bitcoin dead?
I've never paid too much attention to the Bitcoin price, to be honest. I try not to look at it. I think for years you spend your life looking at CoinDesk and Cointelegraph and having flashing ICO adverts flashing in your face whilst you do it. And we just don't tend to look at the price anymore. Whatever the Bitcoin will do, it'll do. It tends to go up so 10,000%, then down 90%, and it's always been chaos. So I guess these associations being named Crypsi Chaos, it's good timing.
Yeah. This is my second. I mean, I think it's fair to call this a bear market now. I don't know. Not that it really matters, but just to give it a label. This is my second time around through this type of downturn in the market. And the first time was, I gotta be honest, it was pretty rough, 2017 to 2018. And then it just dragged on for what seemed like eternity. I gotta say, so far, this one is much easier than the last one. I know you've been through at least a couple of these. How is this feeling compared to the previous times around?
Not much difference. I guess. Listen, I guess we're lucky enough to got into Bitcoin quite early. All of us have some Bitcoin, and we sell it if we're absolutely desperate or there's something we really need in I guess real life. But other than that, we try and accumulate Bitcoin, and the price doesn't affect us in terms of its dollar or euro value.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it was last time around 2018. There was real FUD about whether or not Bitcoin was like, at the lowest of lows, when everybody was just super down and out. You couldn't help but just wondering, like, is this real or am I totally delusional? Like, is this money was like the core question at the lows. And I feel like that question has been resolved by anyone, even like the biggest skeptics. It's clear that Bitcoin is money, that there is a real ecosystem here that's just going to gain an adoption. And no matter what the fuck the Federal Reserve decides to do over the long term, this thing is designed to go up. So it feels like we're on a much more secure foundation this time around than last time.
Yeah, I mean the key to value is scarcity in the long term. just is scarcity, or things on scarce.city, of course.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely share that view. So let's get into this, man. You've got quite the collection of some fine Bitcoin goods on offer for us today. Uh, let's go into them one by one. I guess starting off here with anonymous Bitcoins. What did you create for us here?
Sure. So this is something we've been wanting to do for a while, which was kind of Bitcoin shaped pictures or sculptures or so we decided that pine wood was the best material to use. We had it laser engraved, and we've done a series of 3 of them. So this is the first one, which is anonymous Bitcoin. We've always based our image basically on a combination of Banksy and anonymous. The idea of the 99%. I think that's what Bitcoin stands for. That's what we stand for. So this one's anonymous declaration, and there's up to 21 of them. We're keeping a couple of them, so there's up to 19 for sale. I believe the price increases with each one sold. So there's an element of a kind of pyramid Ponzi scheme, ICO style marketing going on here. But yeah, no, there's up to 19 if people want to buy them at up to the whatever price it gets to. And I think we started them pretty cheaply, then that would be great.
Yeah, so we started these at 700,000 sats. Price increases 100,000 sats with each purchase. One purchase so far, so only going up from here. Beautiful piece, limited to 21, and whatever doesn't get sold, from my understanding, you'll cap at whatever sold here plus the 2 you're keeping for yourself. So max supply of 21, is that right?
Yeah, max supply. I think we've actually made 6 or 7 of them to date. So if 3 got sold, we're gonna have to put 3 on a bonfire somewhere.
Oh, well,
But
that sounds like good content, man. I definitely want to sell more than that, but it's a nice consolation in case we don't.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, what do we got next here? We got Alien Ether. Tell me about this one, man.
So this is a very old picture we did. At the time, we spent a lot of time on Twitter trolling Vitalik and Ethereum. I don't really have a problem with other cryptocurrencies per se. I'm definitely a Bitcoin maximalist, but the way Ethereum markets itself as a better Bitcoin, and it went through all these problems. I mean, it ultimately is slightly more advanced technology, but it isn't secure. It hasn't been properly programmed, and it's designed to unleash hell on the world. And I think if you combine it, one of our main fears has always been artificial intelligence. So this picture was really about the end of the world and artificial intelligence being unleashed through an unstoppable blockchain like Ethereum. But yeah, we made this picture back in 2016, really as Ethereum and the ICOs were beginning to take off. And it was really a warning that I think around that time you had the DAO hack, you had the MyEther wallet scam, you had all kinds of things going on, and then things got worse with things like CryptoKitties and Bored Apes and God knows what.
Yeah, this is really interesting. 2016. I mean, this was before I was even in the space, so you were super early with creating this, and it feels extremely prescient, and even like prescient to this day. The way I look at Ethereum, while there is a lot of use cases that have grown in popularity, as you said, the foundation is just not secure. And it's funny, since I got into the space in 2017, I've been hearing about Ethereum proof of stake, like it's been imminent for the past like 5 years, and it just keeps getting delayed. Like I think they just delayed it again. It's just amazing how they've been able to like keep rolling the ball forward on this timeline.
It was
But
sold. It was sold as a proof of stake coin. So originally they tried to sell it with the idea that it would be launched as a proof of stake coin. But that kind of gets forgotten about.
it's just amazing. It's amazing they've gotten away with that. But the way I look at it with proof of stake, I mean, there's like, who's really staking their own Ethereum, right? Like that's limited for expert developers with specialized equipment. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't look up the numbers, but it seems like a significant majority of Ethereum that's like being staked before the merge or whatever is all on exchanges and like Lido Finance. It seems to me that like, well, that's not central, that's not decentralized. Like the validating nodes must have real influence over the network, and if they ever want to make a change to the network, it seems like there's not much holding them back if they are staking the majority of the coins.
well, I think any kind of proof of stake system or kind of theory is based on the rich getting richer. I mean, it is all the problems of the real world rolled into a cryptocurrency, and if that's what cryptocurrencies come to, then it was all a waste of time.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, the whole idea of proof of stake, whoever has the most to stake has the most to gain, so they get richer. So
right.
yeah, it defeats itself. The whole idea behind these things is to build a better, fairer world, surely. And Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that's ever even really tried to do that, and that's really what it's based on.
Yeah, I think that that leads well into the next piece you have here, UASF. And this was like when I was first coming into the space. I was a total noob when it was happening and hardly understood what was going on. How about you set the stage for us, for anyone who wasn't around. Oh, what is UASF? What does this represent?
I think basically 2017, suddenly Bitcoin and cryptocurrency kind of took off and became worth sort of astronomical amounts of money for the first time in history. There's a real power struggle. Human nature is based on ego and greed, ultimately, unfortunately. And Bitcoin uses that in its kind of structure and its diminishing supply. However, it can be used by people to try and just take control of anything and everything. So you had the likes of Craig Wright crawling out of the gutter. You had the likes of Roger Ver declaring that he was right, everyone else was wrong, and he needed developers, and he'd go off and build something bigger and better. And around that time, a lot of the big corporates got together, and they were going to launch a fork of Bitcoin, and they were effectively going to try and take control of Bitcoin off the users. And because of the way the Bitcoin network works with nodes, there was a huge push at the time. And one of our first pictures was given away to some guy called Chris Ellis, who was very involved in pushing nodes and Bitcoin users using nodes, because that allowed the Bitcoin network to be, even though they had a minority of the Bitcoin mining network, the nodes could still effectively keep Bitcoin to itself. And yeah, there was very nearly a serious fork. I don't really regard Bitcoin Cash or the Bitcoin SV or shitcoin fork of Bitcoin Cash. I mean, these things are a joke, really. They were egotistical ideas. Whereas I think, yeah, the 2x movement potentially could have split Bitcoin in two. It could have destroyed the whole cryptocurrency movement and everything that Bitcoin had worked for. So back in 2017, Tony Vays, very famous kind of investment advisor, chartist, should we say, who's a big Bitcoiner, he came out to the garden one day holding some garden instruments up in the air, and people made it look like he was declaring war and arguing for violence against these corporate organizations that were trying to take over Bitcoin. And this became a very big Twitter meme. So this, at the time, we saw that and we thought we'd do a picture of it. So yeah, around that time, and then the pictures started getting spread around. And I don't think it was due to the pictures, but eventually the whole 2x movement fell apart. And this picture, I guess, is a key memorial to that time.
It seems to be, as good of a stress test as you can imagine on the structure of the Bitcoin network. And going back to what I was saying about Ethereum and proof of stake and all of the Ethereum being staked by a couple staking providers, like if Ethereum were to go through this same stress test, it's it seems unlikely to me that the interests of the users of the network would have prevailed. It seems extremely likely to me that the corporate interests of the network, and these being the same people who are actually staking the coins, would have had enough influence over the network to get their way. And to me, this is like the fundamental difference between the decentralized nature of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we'll see how this plays out. But if this turns out to be true, and one day Ethereum is corrupted by corporate interests, those who are staking the coins, I think this piece will be looked back on, created in 2017, as really important, because I think it's the key battle that shows what makes Bitcoin special.
Yeah, and just to add to the spice, this is a one-off glow-in-the-dark edition. So we only ever really we always did series of sort of 5 or 6 prints of every picture. This picture we did a special glow-in-the-dark edition, which this one was done with. There was one other picture which was done glow-in-the-dark, which is the only other one-off picture. So it's one of 2 ever Crypsi pictures over the last 8 years. Up until the other picture we're auctioning, Lost Bitcoin in a minute.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So moving on, let's talk about the Lost Bitcoin. This is fucking sick, dude. I love what you did here, man. Especially the zoomed in version here. This just it's beautiful how it came together. Tell us what you did.
Well, I think to be honest, it was probably inspired by going along to see some of the art at Scarcity in Manchester last year, and we'd always done very simple prints, just with a design to have a meaning, and we wanted to do something like to show to let some of the artists show a bit more of their artistic ability, should we say? So yes, this is a laser engraved pinewood. A Bitcoin sculpture, effectively, with rounded edges. And then they've been filled in with 24 karat gold paint. The guy's gone to a lot of time to create this. And I love the idea of it being lost in all this kind of moss and artificial grass and things. With the open dime kind of hidden away in the corner, almost unnoticed.
That is super cool, man. I love this piece. I'm very excited to see how this one does in auction. I know there are a lot of eyes on this. You also have another representation of the Bitcoin B here, Lightning Bitcoin. And this is a 1 of 2, and 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. You want to tell us about this?
Sure, yeah. I mean, a Bitcoin Lightning is a very important development. There was a time where Bitcoin fees reached sort of $40, $50 type marks, and it became almost unusable. The days of buying coffees and things with Bitcoin seemed gone. And Bitcoin Lightning, I guess, as a second layer, is very important to Bitcoin because you've seen Ethereum. If it gets popular, it collapses because the fees get too high, and it hasn't got these second layer solutions in place like Lightning. So, like Bitcoin Lightning, I think is a very, very Lightning Labs deserve a lot of credit for what they've done and helping dev Bitcoin. And obviously, Scarcity, you guys are big proponents and standard bearers in using Lightning Bitcoin. So we thought we'd do two. Obviously, as a layer 2 solution, there can only be 2 pictures. There are 2 Lightning Bitcoin sculptures, and these are kind of hand finished and lacquered and laser engraved again.
Yeah, it's we've been working with Lightning since the beginning here, over about 18 months, and it's really just I will say, like, progress on Lightning seemed very slow at first, but it feels like we've hit an inflection point as far as, especially like ecosystem development. There's so many more wallets coming online, so many more tools to make Lightning useful, and I feel like especially a year from now, with the pace kind of development on the infrastructure level, Lightning is going to just be a whole different experience with a much more feature rich experience, and it's pretty clear to me that this is going to be the way forward for transacting with Bitcoin. I'm super excited to see how this goes.
Sure, yeah. I mean, Bitcoin Lightning effectively takes Bitcoin back to how it was in the early days, where you could send people like a couple of dollars of Bitcoin for a few cents, and you thought it was going to change the world purely at a cash level as well as being an asset level. So yes, no. I mean, and Lightning Labs and Lightning itself is a very, very important development for Bitcoin, and it's very important that people use it as much as possible and help spread kind of the word about Lightning.
I'm just noticing as we're talking, there's a really beautiful consistency among the pieces in this collection. I'm thinking about UASF as we're talking about this, because it seems to me that the corporate interests from the US, or before the UASF movement, were to change the block sizes to make it easier to transact Bitcoin on the main chain. Obviously, with the UASF, that did not go through, and that paved the clear direction towards second layer development to transacting in a more scalable way. And again, all of this has, by keeping the block sizes where they were, it kept it possible for anyone to run a Bitcoin full node and therefore keep the network decentralized. Whereas, going back to your alien ether, that's not the case. And that's the key reason why Ethereum is not decentralized and poses an existential risk to the future. Even if it gets, adoption in the short term, without it being decentralized, to your point, it's like, what are we doing here? We're just recreating, the systemic risk that we're dealing with in the fiat world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, completely agree. I mean, we're as much against shitcoins, not for their technical inferiority or lack of security or the fact that people use them to scam and make quick money. It's as much that they distract from Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is designed to change the world, and if you've got all kinds of other cryptos coming along and trying to steal as much thunder and claiming to be the next big or better Bitcoin, then the whole industry collapses, if you ask my opinion. So it's always been Bitcoin or bust for us. And yeah, I mean, all these pictures, I guess, everything we've ever done has always been about promoting Bitcoin, because we believe it can help make a better world.
For sure. You've been extremely consistent with that from the very beginning. So let's talk about, let's get into the rares here. Starting with the XCP Starter Pack. Tell us about what you have here.
Yeah, I guess to go back a bit, that we were very lucky through yourselves. We very kindly got invited to make a counterparty NFT, a fake rare Pepe, by Skrilla, and we made it without much thought. And I'd always ignored NFTs. We'd always just not thought much of them. I was very aware of rare Pepes early on. Just chose to ignore them. They seemed a bit ICO, a bit scammy to me, so I was always a Bitcoin maximalist. We just did physical art. We wouldn't touch the digital art. And I guess, yeah, about a year ago, all that changed when we did this fake rare Pepe, which we didn't think too much of, to be honest, and we probably didn't put much effort into. But hopefully it's become a classic because of it. But yeah, so we started making a fake rare Pepe, and since then, yeah, a couple of the artists have really got into. One of them in particular has a graphic design background. So he's very into sort of making animated and GIFs and MP4s. So yeah, we got probably got a bit carried away making some of the NFTs over the last year. But yeah, we're finding some time for some physical art again, I guess now. So yeah, I guess this first one is a collection of 10 different XCP tokens from 10 different series. So I guess, yeah, Counterparty is originally famous for rare Pepes, and then you had the likes of Bitcoin and Mafia Wars that came along. You'd always had, obviously, Spells of Genesis and other things before, but So more recently, after the fake res success, I guess you had the likes of the dank Pepes that came along. Kaleidoscope has always been there, I guess, a totally alternative system. So yeah, this is our kind of Crypsi has tried to do sort of at least one card or one token for each series. So this is one card from each of the 10 series we've kind of managed to put a card into. And there's a few that we haven't, but hopefully one day we'll fix that as well.
So tell me what makes counterparty NFTs on Bitcoin special and different from NFTs on Ethereum and other chains in your mind.
Sure. Yeah, well, again, it all comes back to being the right chain that we consider is Bitcoin, and we never really. I mean, you hear the word counterparty and you immediately think, oh, it's just using a kind of shitcoin in between, which it's to a certain degree it is, but counterparty does use Bitcoin addresses. It does use Bitcoin transactions. If you were a collector of counterparty tokens, you would never have to touch anything apart from Bitcoin. So from that perspective, and I think there's a lot of integration coming with hardware wallets and things as well. So from that perspective, I think counterparties in line with Bitcoin, should we say? It does require a counterparty token in order to mint assets or name assets or change the bits about assets. But other than that, it uses Bitcoin wallets. So we consider it. We've admitted our ignorance and how wrong we were for many years over the counterparty by actually beginning to look at it properly.
Yeah, where I stand on this as a Bitcoin maximalist is I believe that there are important use cases to cryptocurrencies outside of just traditional money transactions. And I believe that there's a big future in NFTs. So big, in fact, that I think it's really in our best interest, in the best interest of the future, to secure these tokens on the strongest network available. And unequivocally, that is Bitcoin. If we don't do that, we're doing ourselves a big disservice of creating risk for these assets in the future by storing them on an unsecured chain.
Well, I think the other thing is I mean, obviously, Crypsi has always been kind of crypto anarchist sort of art collective. So from an art perspective, I mean, NFTs are here to stay, digital art is here to stay, and you want the Bitcoin network to be a key part to that market. You don't, at the moment, I think Ethereum has taken it over, but for a long time, Bitcoin was the key market. It was the only market, really. I mean, sure, I mean, NFTs were created on Namecoin or something, but they really took off with the rare Pepes on Bitcoin on Counterparty. So there's no reason why the Counterparty can't grow and rival Ethereum as a counterparty network effectively. Yeah.
Yeah, and another part of this too is this is all good for Bitcoin. Counterparty transactions, they generate fees, which compensate miners for securing the network, especially during times when there's not much of a fee market and there's all these fears of how miners are going to be incentivized when the block rewards continue to have. And at the same time, it's great for Bitcoin adoption.
I mean, if counterparty art takes up 1% of the Bitcoin network one day, then it could make the difference between governments claiming that Bitcoin is half 50 or 49% dark market sales.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, love them or hate them, NFTs are bringing people into this space. And when you interact with NFTs, you're forced, in most cases, to custody your tokens. And for many, myself included, that was the ultimate orange pill experience. When I first started buying Bitcoin, of course, I was keeping it on exchange. But when I first transferred Bitcoin to a paper wallet, that was the magical moment for me, where I realized with this piece of paper, with this sequence of characters, I was securing my money without depending on any intermediary. And you get that same experience through custodying your NFTs. So people interacting with NFTs on Bitcoin, they're experiencing how to use Bitcoin in a secure way by custodying it themselves. So I think it's as good of a gateway as any into learning about the important qualities of Bitcoin, and ultimately being convinced to hold your savings in Bitcoin.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Cool, man. Well, I love this collection here, and now we're going to go into your specialized counterparty collection. So starting with the Drooling Ape Bus Club, what do you want to tell us about this collection, or this slot here?
Yeah, well, I guess the Drooling Apes were launched, I guess, 8 months ago, 7, 8 months ago. And the idea was to make fun of the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, and I think there's some other Ethereum apes now as well. And the idea was just to make fun of them, using a counterparty token. And yeah, it's become quite a successful sort of counterparty series. There's lots of new artists contributing. So yeah, these are our 6 contributions to the Drooling Apes. So it starts off with Bitcoin Ape, then it goes on to Shitcoin Ape, which features many shitcoiner celebrities. Then there's Banksy Drool, which has a very relaxing background tune and has us drooling on a kind of Monopoly bankster figure. So most of these, I think 4 of them, apologies, are MP4s. And I think 3 have audio. Only one's a JPEG as such. So it's not just JPEGs. We're doing GIFs and MP4s as well. Yeah, we're trying to push the boundaries, I guess, of what Counterparty can let us do, which might get us into trouble every now and then. But yeah, no, we're very proud of representing and being accepted into the Drooling Apes, and these are the entire Crypsi collection of all 6 of our acceptances.
I love this, man. This is such a fun series. Yeah, definitely make sure to click into each of these. We actually have marketplace now for the Drooling Apes. We featured a number of the counterparty projects in our marketplace, so you can see these here, and see the price history, see where they're listed. If they're listed on Scarce City, you can buy them directly. Very cool project. I mean, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's just it's the most cringy possible NFT project I can imagine. So it needs to be parodied. We can't just let this stand. So I think
I mean, I saw a very good tweet earlier today where some guy was saying that why is a one of 10,000 Bored Ape more expensive than a one of 300 Rare Pepe? And that just shows you how mad the marketing's gone on Ethereum, how a few celebrity endorsements can kind of completely skew the market. And yeah, no, it is crazy. And there's so much good counterparty art, and it's at a very affordable price that I think rivals a lot, or is far superior to a lot of this kind of computer generated crap on Ethereum.
Yeah, the way I look at the counterparty ecosystem is this is like the counterculture of NFTs, and not only is like everybody is different, and some people like the pop culture stuff, but me personally, I'm never going to get into that. But I think a more important point here is that counterculture shapes culture, right? Like, one of the biggest countercultures, in modern times is hip hop, and now like hip hop has become, mainstream in a sense, and in a way, in many ways, too poppy. But like still the foundations of hip hop They represent counterculture in the purest form, and that's what I see in Counterparty and what I feel like makes it so special.
Yeah, and art is important. Art in the wider world, in the history of the world. Art has started revolutions, has changed things, and yeah, that's why we're very much involved in Bitcoin art, is because we believe, yeah, promoting Bitcoin and promoting anything on Bitcoin. We certainly believe that counterparty entities are on Bitcoin and increase the Bitcoin network transactions, and it's important that the Bitcoin does have its own network to help any kind of revolution, which is ultimately what it's trying to achieve.
Absolutely, man. I mean, art is one of the most effective means for communicating the message of Bitcoin. So it's absolutely critical to the revolution. I mean, you can't have a revolution without art. The revolution must have a renaissance. And what makes Bitcoin, one thing that makes Bitcoin special is that those with creative talents that believe in Bitcoin, they devote their creative talents to Bitcoin to continue to spread the message. And that's
luckily the revolution can be televised.
Luckily so, and broadcasted in many forms beyond television. So let's talk about the next one here, the dank Pepes. Tell us about your danks.
Yes, the dank started. We got rejected from the Fakes. We weren't good enough, so we ended up. Pet ended up in the danks, and I'm a big fan of the danks. We used to spend a lot of time in the chats giving away Dankest Nugs, which is one of the ones, the all-time classic danks. There, I think most of them have been given away. But yeah, we've created some new ones. Pepe Burster was based on the Ether Alien picture we're selling earlier. It's a kind of Pepe dank version. So we just made a few of those. Dank Fire is more of a GIF. We had to have. We thought we'd never done an NFT of the Federal Reserve burning, which was a disgrace. So Dank Fire was a kind of catching up exercise in that. And Just Dank It, I guess, is a bit of a commentary on the danks, that occasionally people get carried away just contributing anything. So that was a kind of homage to the famous Skrilla Pepe, but also a commentary on the danks, that sometimes simpler might be better, arguably, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Pepe's, I'm sure you've experienced this. I've experienced it in different ways, but people just want to create Pepe's, like something about that frog, man. People just want to, they want to meme the hell out of it. I don't know what it is. It's not logical, but it's reality. And there needs to be an outlet for sharing your Pepe's. And
I think these outlets are growing. These outlets are growing all over the place. And yeah, we're as guilty of as anyone. We've certainly made quite a few counterparty NFTs over the last sort of 8 months, and yeah, I guess a lot. That's a lot of what's on display today, or over the next couple of days.
Yeah, well, what makes the Dank Pepe's project so special is that it has been almost, I don't know details, but seemingly very open to artists' submissions, and very easy to get through and have a way to display your creations. So it's a very special project.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's like you could arguably a properly open source, decentralized, almost. Well, not decentralized, but certainly more of an open source Pepe society, should we say?
Absolutely. All right, so your final lot here, the fake rares. Tell us about your fake rares.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, yeah, Skrilla got us into the counterparty NFTs, which we're very grateful for. Peptine Clan was our first contribution. We did a couple of sub assets of that. And yeah, we've been trying to improve the quality. We've been trying to put a bit more effort into making these, and yeah, as I said, push the boundaries of what can be done. So yeah, I think we began to do that with Fake Shark, and we spent a lot of time on the sub assets, The longer term idea might be if we could find the right artists to pick our favorite kind of modern artists and do series of cards. So you'd have one main card and a number of sub assets donated to their kind of lifetime of works. Now it's very hard to do because a lot of the kind of key artists that we might like to do have already been used extensively on Counterparty. But yeah, this is a Damien Hirst tribute. So we did the fake shark. And then there's, I think, 4 or 5 different sub assets we've done devoted to different works of his or different kind of famous postures of his.
Very cool, man. Yeah, as important as it is to have an open project in the Counterparty ecosystem, curation is also really important, and it's extremely impressive what the Fake Rare project has accomplished. It's you have to give credit to the Fake Rares for reinvigorating the Counterparty ecosystem. I was extremely skeptical before the Fake Rares that a new Counterparty project could be successful. There were the Rare Pepes, there were the Spells of Genesis, the OG projects, but as far as new tokens, just nobody was creating them. And Fake Rares, through just amazing kind of community effort, proved otherwise, and set off this whole, renewed renaissance in the Counterparty ecosystem. Proved to all the other projects, to all the other creators, that you can create communities around new Counterparty tokens, and there are people who want to collect these things. So they deserve a ton of credit for that. And it's, to this day, I'm constantly amazed by the enthusiasm of the Fake Rare community to contribute to the project. There's kind of some stuff I can't share here, but just individuals in the community who are going out on their own and like committing their time, energy, and resources to promote Fake Rares. It's just amazing to see, and it makes me have a lot of confidence in the project long term. I feel like this is one of the great kind of digital brands of the futures is the Fake Rares.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's I've made some great friends, I've met some great people. It's a fantastic collection of people and artists, and yeah, I think we all spur each other on, and yeah, it's I think it has turned into something special, definitely. And
Awesome.
I think shout out to the Fake Commons as well. So one of the cards there was Fake Graffiti, which made it into the first series of the Fake Commons. So yeah, no, I think the combination of the Fake Rares and Fake Commons, I think, yeah, the future's bright anyway for Counterparty.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's all the lots. Before I let you go, you did mention that you wanted to offer something special to the auction bidders, and we'll announce this soon on Twitter and Telegram. But for anyone who's listening, why don't you give them the early insight on what this bonus is?
Well, the thing is we decided on calling it Crypsi Chaos, and we were sitting here and thinking there wasn't enough chaos. So we've been running around like lunatics trying to create a last-minute NFT for all bidders. So anyone who bids on any of the lots at all, not just ours, any of the lots being auctioned at Scarce over the next couple of days, can tweet us or contact us on Telegram, telling us what they bid on, how much they bid. And we'll obviously check it thoroughly, and if it concurs, then we'll send them a free NFT. And I think it's called Scarce Chaos. It's been minted in the last hour or two on Counterparty. And yeah, we're obviously very, very grateful to Scarce for putting up with Crypsi and love the chaos we cause. But we had to cause a bit of last-minute chaos and give away something for the last minute, and not tell you until about half an hour ago as well, because that's just part of the chaos.
Yeah, you lived up to the collection name. Let me see if I can play this. I don't know how it's going to come through on the live stream, but let's give it a try. That's dope, man. That's super dope. All right.
Scare City taking over the world's Bitcoin.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. We appreciate all you do and devoting your talents and resources to Bitcoin and the Bitcoin arts. Looking forward to see this collection progress over the next couple of days. Best of luck to you, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Brilliant. No, thanks a lot, Chris.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. If you're still with us, let me see if I can pull up. Oh, we're back at Scare City homepage here again. Crypsi chaos going on until Thursday, starting to end at 20 UTC, 4 p.m. Eastern, and that's 1 p.m. Pacific time. We also have the Pepe and Friends collection going on. I think we have 16 lots here, some sales, some auctions. Definitely check some of these out early as they're limited in supply, and price will be increasing with each purchase. What do we got here? So we got some rare Pepes. What rare Pepes do we got? I think they're towards the end here. Pepe Party, 5 of these up for grabs. Floors Lava Sale. It's top 5 bidders pay the floor. We've got the Cheech and Chong Pepe set, super iconic, 100 issuance each for those early series rare Pepes. Lord Shiva, I mean, if you're deep enough down the rare Pepe rabbit hole, you know how special this card is. We also got some really special fake rares, fake Pepe rare, early series, super rare. I think there's only 21 of these in total. I have not seen this for sale before. So these do not come available often. Definitely going to be highly sought after. I love these hodl tights by Hitomi. We have the tokens as well as the 1-of-1 physical for sale. These tokens are going fast, so make sure you get one of those. And the 1-of-1 token, there's only one of these. This is up for auction. I think people are really, really appreciating how special these are. It's a series of 4. So whether it's digital form or physical form, I want to collect all of these. We also have the Feels Trippy. This is by K Visuals. Very special piece here. Check it out. This is in collaboration with Funchkins. Funchkins is the community governed counterparty project where the community is actually voting in the tokens that are admitted into the project. Very cool what they're doing there. And I'm probably forgetting a bunch of other things. XC Pinata. I mean, this is like 2000. These assets are from, I think 2015, 16. Super early vintage tokens. I think these will age to become very iconic over time. The Ren Rare 4, these, from Michael Naples, we have the 1-of-1 physical painting as well as the tokens. Only 8 of the tokens available. Vapor Magic, another rare Pepe. Bunch of cool stuff here. Get in here, check it out. Enjoy the collections. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you soon.